Hey, what's going on, guys? Roniboney here, I guess, for the third episode, kind of an impromptu
Halo
third
talk.
episode, yeah, of Halo talk with weapons grades. So, hey, man,
How's it going?
what's up?
Nothing, man. Just been sick lately, man. So, I'm glad to be back doing another video with you, man. It's been a while, actually.
I never
since the
thought
last
this would
time.
happen, dude. Like, I really didn't. When I left, I thought I was properly gone, but I don't know. Here I am.
Yeah, man.
And here you are.
So, what's the first topic, dude?
Multi-lock. I think I'm gonna
Man.
I'm gonna let you go away with this one because I know you got a lot to say on this.
Multi-lock, dude. Well, first of all, there's been a lot of stuff happening lately with multi-lock, backwards compatibility, all this stuff. I have not had time, honestly, to make a video about any of this, so I'm glad we can just kind of brush all these topics kind of into one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, multi-lock, okay. My opinion on the matter. Well, first, let me say I am a business major. I go to school for business in college right now. I graduate next year with my bachelor's degree. And I understand that at a company perspective, they look at your social media. Yes, they look at, they'll do a background check. Hey, what kind of person is this person? What kind of character do they have? Do they shit post? Do they, make controversial content? And they take that into consideration when they hire you. So, that's actually a basic business principle. We learned that in Business 101 our first year. It's almost common knowledge to an extent if you didn't know that. So, yes, what he said, I believe, you recall what he said? He was basically like, the people at 343 are trash or something along those lines. And yeah, that is not good at a business perspective, but in a gaming perspective, I still don't agree with the decisions they made. Number one, the way it was handled. Basically, he got exposed by somebody else. Somebody dug.
It's some dude in his basement just basically just posted this over to, I think it was Jeff Easterling,
Exactly.
Grim Brother 1 or something, and
Exactly.
we went from
Some-
there.
Some fuckwad decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to expose this guy who just got a job, a talented map designer who could possibly change the direction of Halo's shitty map style, or 343's map style. Because let's be honest here, 343 suck ass at making maps.
Oh, yeah,
Halo
totally,
5's
yeah.
Halo, I cannot name one map right now in Halo 5 that is equal or just as good as a map in Halo 3 or 2.
Oh, God,
you
no.
can't.
No.
Even Halo 1, you can't.
Well, they're
You
just
know,
so
Prime-
damn vertical. That's why they're all built around the abilities. But anyway, that's another. But what you were saying about the maps thing, I totally agree with in that respect. That he is a talented map designer. He had a
Right.
job at Treyarch, earning a
Right.
hell of a lot more money than he would at 343. He even said in his post that he would go home and work on Forge after working on Call of Duty games. So if that doesn't show 343
Dedication.
something, yeah, exactly.
Dedication,
That
right. So I'm disappointed in 343 that they couldn't just brush this off, especially in the way it was presented. Some faggot goes, yeah, I'm gonna expose this guy because I don't agree with him, and what? It'd be like, and I said this earlier to you. It'd be like if I got jealous of you because you worked at 343, so you deleted all your posts, and I dug up one of your videos, sent them to 343, and said, you know what? Fuck this guy, fire Roniboney. And they did. That's basically what happened here. So.
And if I ever do start working for 343, then people can properly call me a shill, and I give you permission to do that to me.
Right.
So,
It's just getting past that cold. But here's also another thing, dude. I just lost my train of thought. With multi-lock on, man, 343. Oh shit.
it's okay.
I completely lost my train of thought.
It's
dude.
okay. It's okay.
I-
No,
I-
I have
damn
something to
cop.
say about the multi-lock thing, but it's been shown, like, throughout all of 343's history that they have actually hired developers that don't really like their games. So as soon
Correct.
as somebody is hired that genuinely has passion, that is willing to leave, a really big salary. And what I think is, with my current move, like with my upcoming move now to the US, I'm very aware of what it takes, to find an apartment now. Security checks, background checks, credit scores, all these things that actually goes into basically applying to a landlord saying that I am going to be a good tenant. This guy here leaves a job. He moves from California, travels up to Seattle. He's
Correct.
paid his first and last month's rent, a security deposit. He's taken a pay cut. He's here with his girlfriend as well. He's moved up. And then they tell him, actually, you don't have a job anymore because we couldn't go to the trouble of actually doing, like you said, a background check. And every business major knows this. Everyone knows this, that you're going to get a background check done on you by a company. God, it's late, man. We're tripping over our words, but we'll get this done no matter what.
Right.
But it's so true that what they did was, it's something so bad, and I haven't seen anybody really talking about this, and I've seen none of the larger YouTubers talk about this. It's taboo.
Fabian, Ackman, nobody is late night. Nobody is talking about this topic. But I finally remember what I was gonna say, man. So you have to look at it like this. This is how I look at it too. Multi-Lock-On was kind of like us, you know what I mean? He was able to criticize 343, and he still wanted to work for the company. They need somebody like that. They need somebody who can say, okay, this is what's wrong with our game. Let's fucking fix it.
Didn't they do that with Luke Smith, though, for Halo 3? That he was critical of Bungie for Halo 2. And then they hired him.
Yes.
I don't know if it's exactly Luke Smith,
yes,
but I think
right.
it was one of the developers anyway.
It was for Halo 2, Luke Smith. He basically talked shit on Bungie. He was actually, I think, the director or journalist at OneUp.com. It was like a review site or whatever. But basically, he criticized Bungie, you know, in Halo 2, said what he didn't like about this and that. And they hired him because of that, and they basically made a better game. Even Overwatch. Overwatch is a great example. Jeff something, I think Carney or something like that. You know, he criticized Overwatch. You know, this game is shit, this and that and the third. Brutal. If you think Multi-Lock-On's comment was brutal, this guy went in on Overwatch, right? They picked him up, and he's now the executive director of Overwatch. And you see the game is massively successful.
Yeah.
But my point, dude, is that we need somebody in there like that. Somebody like, you know, us that are able to actually, okay, look at everything at face value and say, this is what's wrong with the franchise. This is what's good. Let's fix it from there. 343, after doing this, they showed me they are just nothing but a bunch of yes men. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
And I thought that was going to happen as well. When I saw in Halo 4 that they'd hired Bravo as the community manager, like Andy Dudinsky, he was like the coach for Triggers Down. I thought, this is great, because at that time I was really plugged into the whole like MOG Halo thing. I lived for it at one stage in my life, which is sad to say, but I'm still proud of the time that I put into Halo and the type of passion I still and did have for the franchise. So when I saw that they hired someone that had even more passion, to the point where he would actually coach teams and go to all these events and was directly plugged into the pro scene, I thought, this is going to be great. Then they hired the pro team. What good has that done if they're not going to say anything? If you're looking out for your job first and foremost, instead of what you're actually hired to do, which is create a good game.
Thank you.
Dude. You're not going to be able to do that. Those two things,
infuriating,
isn't it?
Yes, because literally, dude, they lost that talent and potential right then and there, dude.
Yep.
This guy could have done something great for the Halo franchise. You know, Halo 6's maps now might be shit again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it shows at face value that 343 are just nothing but a bunch of shills and yes men. And I've suspected this long ago. I've made videos about this, how they only take criticism from their closest, most dearest 343 fanboys. Yeah. That's it. You know, with the sprint poll, right? With everything, dude.
That thing, the sprint poll is... We never hear that brought up, saying that all the fans voted for Sprint. It's like, do you realize that all the fans for Halo are gone? They're on other franchises now because the game changed. You're not going to be there for an obscure fucking poll on Waypoint when you're playing a different game. You know, they're playing The Witcher. They're enjoying the shit out of The Witcher 3 and praising CD Projekt Red. They're not going to be on Halo Waypoint where the mods will shut down anything that you say. And that's not like me trying to be a conspiracy theorist wearing my fucking tinfoil hat. It happens. There's evidence of it.
I want to make a video, actually, and I've been thinking about this. I actually was going to start it yesterday. To prove, just to show people that people who play Halo, you know, that don't like the franchise now, are actually playing other games. So I was gonna go in the game lobbies like Call of Duty and hook up my capture card and stuff and talk to people. Hey, you know, have you played? Why did you stop playing Halo? And ask them.
That's a pretty good idea, man. I'd watch that video.
I'm going to do it eventually. I'm going to get to it. It's going to be it's my big project I'm working on.
Good.
Hopefully nobody steals the idea now. Who cares?
You'll do it better. It's fine.
Yeah. But you know, I basically just ask them a survey of questions. You know.
Yeah.
And just to show you, dude, here at my college, dude, some dude, I said this in a previous video, he watched me play Halo Wars, man. You know, this guy's a student athlete. He's above and beyond video games now. He hasn't touched Xbox since 360 days. You know what I mean? He's out of touch with Xbox. He saw me playing Halo Wars. He said, "Yo, man, this is Halo Wars. I used to play the first one on 360. I haven't, you know, Halo got trashed." And I didn't say anything, dude. He just said, "Halo's trash now, dude." I hear, yeah, it is universally. I believe most people think that Halo has lost its quality. Right,
100%. Yeah.
You look on Facebook comments. You look on any social media platform besides the biased Waypoint and Reddit are Halo, and you'll see that this franchise has gone to shit.
Yeah.
But about multi-lock on, where were we with that?
We were talking about him getting fucking kicked out of his house as well.
a bunch of shills and yes men, dude. That is literally what this whole company is comprised of. Yeah, it's sickening, dude. They care more about microtransactions and money than a quality game that would satisfy their existing and older fan bases. And
I have a true problem with the people that defend 343 making these types of decisions, and that's why if people have noticed lately that I've been really going in hard on some of these people, because in the 6 months that I was not posting Halo videos, all of this stuff, in my opinion, started to run rampant. There's all these channels that say that they're, you know, like I call that Halo Collective, and I'll stick by my guns on that those guys act so passive-aggressively on Twitter. And they really just try and shut people's arguments down and try and say, oh, well, you know, objectively you're wrong and you're very immature about these things. And they try and turn the argument around on you when they begin to have a point that you can't, that they can't defend. And if they bring me a point saying, do you not agree that this is good? Of course I can say, yes, in this respect I agree it's good. But in the wider context, you have to look at the bigger picture. You can't look at like one certain thing. You know, I could watch a football game where it's like a 5-1. You know, Manchester United gets five goals. I don't know, like fucking Nottingham Forest gets 1 goal. I can say that 1 goal by Nottingham Forest is great, but who still won the match? You know, it's in that context, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get 1 little goal. It's the 5 goals that you need to get that will actually win you the match, and that's what Halo's not doing. It's not going that extra mile. It hasn't been going that extra mile for years because they've been, and as you demonstrated in your videos, and we discussed this beforehand, and for the last 3 or 4 videos, I've been saying go and check Weapons Grade's channel out. And if you're checking him out right now on my channel, please go and check some of his videos out, because he has definitive proof from some of these 343 developers at events saying that they copied facets from other games, like the shoulder charge from Destiny. Wow, that was a fast sentence, but your turn.
They did. Their multiplayer director of Halo 5 came out and he said, I wouldn't advocate stealing for the sake of stealing, but, you know, we looked at fucking shoulder charge in Destiny, whatever. It's like an execution ability in Destiny or whatever. They looked at that and implemented it into Halo 5. So the point is that why are you looking at other shooters and implementing their mechanics into your game? You should be making a Halo game, and that is what I cannot absolutely stand. They're looking in the wrong area with regarding to building a Halo game.
Well, they're looking for other kind of extrinsic kind of things to bring into their game, but then people that want to bring the qualities that will make Halo Halo, like multi-lock on, they don't want those type of people in there because they have their own vision. If anything tampers with that vision, they're default aggressive towards it. That's one thing that I've noticed with all the fans as well that really do defend it, that they're so default aggressive towards your opinion. They don't even consider it. They say, oh, we've heard this time and time again. Well, the reason you fucking heard it time and time again is because it's true. If this wasn't true, we wouldn't be bringing it up all the time. And like I said in one of my previous videos, I think that Halo could genuinely revert its mechanics back to classic. And I don't believe it's going to be an honest reversion. I believe it's because they're going to follow market trends. Call of Duty has now done that reversion because they had such a huge backlash from the Infinite Warfare trailer. And do you remember the CEO of Activision said, you know, the franchise has never been higher. Like the like per view ratio of that video was the highest they've ever seen, more like the fucking dislike ratio. It was
phenomenal, dude.
Yeah,
I told my girlfriend to even dislike it. You know, my friend, I sent him a link. I said, dislike this video for me.
It was just a dislike train. I'd say most of it was people just like disliking it for the point of just disliking it because they don't even play the game, but they realize it's total bullshit. So they did it for the COD fan base. So we need that shit for Halo. If Halo 6 has, God love it, if it has wall running, you have literally put the last nail on the coffin. You know, we may as well have the 21 gun salute now because it will never come back if they do anything like that. They need classic.
And honestly, dude, multi lock on, all things considered, can you really blame this guy for
No.
what he said about 343?
No, calling it trash is really, really light as well. That's not even good.
Calling. Oh, here's what he said. I'm sorry. He said the people at 343 don't deserve their jobs, or something along the lines of that. I agree.
I mean, the upper management definitely don't, because they're the ones that are really kind of pulling the strings. Like, I try and make that distinction that I don't hate, like, you know, the everyday developer who's just trying to make his living. That's fine, but the people up there that are definitely preventing some things from happening.
The people who control the pipelines of, you know, what's going in this, what's going in that, they are incompetent, dude.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's.
So can you really blame multi-lock on?
No, I can't.
After tons and tons of community criticism all over YouTube, all over all social media platforms, they aren't listening. And you know what? I don't blame him for what he said, because they just don't listen.
Yeah.
You know, when is enough going to be enough, dude? I don't know, man.
When the franchise is buried, and it's something that's extremely personal, and like we were saying earlier, a lot of these people, because their opinions and their personality is really formed around Halo, they take such offense towards people critiquing Halo. Like we mentioned it, I'm going to mention it right now. Late Night Gaming. Late Night does this all the time. Late Night does this all the time. If you critique the game at all, and like you said, that when he was having issues in high school, and that he wasn't, you know, he was being bullied, and I obviously don't advocate anyone bullying anyone, but to say, like, his opinions, I believe, are very in line with Halo, and Halo is his life, which is fine. Like, he has a channel around that, he earns money doing that. But I think that you kind of have to remove yourself sometimes, which I'm glad I don't have a lot of subscribers, because I'm able to make that distinction. I'm able to remove myself from the situation and kind of look at it from above and say, is this really, you know, logical what I'm saying, or does this have any kind of basis in reality? And it all does. It all does. Like, we can ignore some blatant facts out there, or we can try and take them in and digest them. And I think a lot of these people don't try and digest them. They block it away and say, I'm going to focus on this good thing. Whereas if you want to have a rounded view, you have to focus on negatives and positives. And more so, I believe, negatives. Because the positives will speak for themselves. The negatives, you know... Anyway, you were trying to say something.
Oh, yeah. I love what you're saying, dude. But the issue is that Late Night Gaming, right? I can tell from one of his videos he did, he explained his history with Halo and stuff. He became too emotionally attached with Halo. Now, there's nothing wrong with being too emotionally attached with something, right? You were emotionally attached to Halo.
We still kind of are, because we're still talking about it.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah. We are, right? But the point is that me and you, Fabian, Ackman, we can take our emotional attachment and separate it from reality, right? You know, if somebody talks shit about Halo, I don't get offended, right? But if Late Night Gaming hears somebody talking shit about Halo, 343 suck, you know, they're this or that, he immediately feels like he's being attacked as well, because it's like inside of him. Like, that's how he feels. It's part of him. And, you know, you need to be able to separate those two values, I think, to actually properly analyze something and criticize it to make it better. And that's the point. We're not just shitting on Halo to shit on Halo, dude.
No, of course not.
We're trying to make it better.
And there are a lot of people that play Halo 5 that will still acknowledge that it has had a lot of failings. And I've loads of subscribers that I talk to personally on Twitter. I try and follow back as much people as I can that will message me saying, I still play and like Halo 5, but I know exactly where you're coming from. And it's nice to know that there's people out there that can kind of juggle those two perspectives. Because we need people like that. We need more people like that can try and look at it from this type of point of view, and also look at it from saying that, yes, there have been things that 343 have done right. Oh my god, people are going to get so angry with me for saying that. But like Forge and the custom game browser, I mean, those are definite improvements upon the other things. But if the rest of the game isn't there, then, I mean, it doesn't matter for shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. The bottom line, dude, we need passionate people who actually care about the franchise, who can criticize it, and 343 need to listen to that feedback.
You need honest people. Like, I mean, Bonnie Ross and Kiki Wolfkill are, you know, known SJWs, so it's, I mean, like, what the hell? Like, it's
honest people to actually, we need 343 to actually listen to the honest people, you know, that can criticize the game but still love it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And Multi-Lock-On was one of those people, and unfortunately 343 fucked him over, and so did that scumbag douchebag that fucking exposed him.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
and on that
probably,
point as well, he could have revised his opinions completely by 343, and it seems really like he had revised his opinions on that. Look, they are willing to give me a chance, so I'm willing to give them one more chance. And then this guy pretty much dug up the past and like put it all out there for.
Right. From what I understand, those comments were made 3 months prior.
Wow.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I said wow.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Somebody really did some digging.
Yeah.
And,
it's pathetic.
So what's the next topic, man?
Backwards compatibility. Yeah, you lead this one, man, because I have sold my Xbox. So.
Yeah. So I've been playing Halo 3 backwards compatibility a lot. I'll say I made a scrub account, or we call it Smurf account, basically, where you make a new account just to get a 50 in Team Slayer or Lone Wolves or whatever. I wanted to reset my stats, so I did it. So that's why, you know, Call of Duty and other games, I love the reset stats function, because you don't have to make a new account. You can just reset your. So, anyways, at first it was going strong. You know, load a match of Team Slayer, you find a game in X amount of seconds, and the greatest thing was Halo 3 actually matches skill rank better than MCC. Of course, right? Yeah. In MCC, you could be a level 1 and play against a team of 50s, right? The ranks are all over the place. In H3, you basically matched with people similar to your skill rank.
Yeah, it's
you know,
5-on-5 then. Yeah.
Right. Great. It was tight skill ranking. The match quality was pretty good. But, you know, there were issues with backwards compatibility. Some people couldn't download maps. It was troublesome. There were a lot of frame rate issues for some people. And Xbox One players playing with 360 players, even though with their desync issues and major lag, none of it's addressed yet. And 343 know this. It's on the waypoint. There's an actual backwards compatibility forum for it. They haven't done anything yet. And they even teased a surprise. They said on the 10th anniversary or a couple days after that, they're going to basically have a surprise for Halo 3 backwards compatibility. Here we are 12 days later, maybe 14, I think, and nothing has happened. The game is now dead. It's in a horrible state. I can't even find a match of Team Slayer anymore, actually, to be honest. The skill ranks are still tight, even better than MCC, but, you know, it takes 5-10 minutes to get into a game, and the search always resets. So, missed opportunity once again. There you have it, guys. 343 Industries, 3 steps forward, 43 steps backwards.
And it's so consistent as well that they will tease something. They'll say, we're working on this, don't worry, we're working on it, just like they've been working on a fucking patch for the MCC for over 2 years, and they just don't deliver. And it's, you know, it's how long are people going to wait? They need to realize that this is a very, like, especially in this type of society now, it's a very kind of like instant gratification type of society, which they've created in their game. It's a real instant kind of gratification type of game in Halo 5. The Halo community, we want something straight away, because we've been waiting for so long that you cannot possibly think that it's a good idea to just keep teasing these things and then just like say, don't worry, it's coming, don't worry. And then you have all the all the idiots and everything on Twitter saying, you know, they're working on it, like, you know, why don't you try and do better? I fucking hate that argument where people try and say things like that. Why don't you do better? I mean, I got a fucking job. I got my own job. Like, that's not my job. It's, you know, it's their job. They're the ones that are meant to deliver on this, and they have the full force of Microsoft. So, you know, and people saying, well, Microsoft and 343 are different things. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not at all. They have the full force of Microsoft at their disposal. So why is the game not recovering? Why the hell? Look, if they want to keep on with this current kind of direction with the thruster packs and sprinters and all, and sprint and all this, then fine. But why is there not more? Like, I mean, I'll just leave the franchise then, and so will a lot of people. But why the hell is there not more consistent kind of content for that? You know, it's trying to defend the undefendable. If I say that there's a lack of content, they say there's not, but yet there's still a lack of content on their own side. Then you know, how the fuck can you, like, how can people argue this? Like, I don't get it.
Right. And I see this in the comments section already about the backwards compatibility thing. You know, I basically was blaming 343. The Xbox team is actually responsible for the backwards compatibility port, right? So, you know, I see this in the comments. Oh, weapons grade. You know, Xbox team is responsible, not 343. But they did work together in this, and 343 made a bunch of false promises with a surprise thing. Yeah. And they didn't come forward with it. So it is, and 343 are actually working with the Xbox team to manage hacking and stuff like that. Like, I actually played a Team Slayer game yesterday. Somebody had an aimbot, dude. Ridiculous, man.
Jesus.
He had an aimbot, dude, in Team Slayer, right? So it was on Snowbound. Dude picked up the beam rifle in one of the bases, dude. Literally, if you would expose your head anywhere outside of like cover, you would get instant headshotted. His BR was insane with that. It was crazy, dude. He would, even if you like strong sided, if you know what that means.
Yeah.
Like you
Head
look down and yeah, you would still get headshotted, dude. It was insane. We were just like, what the hell, man? You see a lot of hackers like that too. So, you know, bottom line, dude. It's failed. I don't see it coming back unless they make it a free-to-play title and fix some of those issues.
Which is why the hell didn't they do that? Why the hell haven't they done that? Why the hell didn't they make MCC free? Cut your losses, make it free,
exactly.
Make Halo 3 backwards compatible free, make all these things free, and then you will see a drastic rise in the population, because if they don't notice, a lot of free-to-play games on PC, even though they don't have ridiculously large player numbers, like maybe Paladins does on Steam charts, like what, 20,000 people, but games like Dirty Bomb and things like that, I mean, it will topple out at around 8 to maybe 12,000 players, you know, dynamic players. And concurrent players. So it's, you know, it is a way of getting larger player numbers and more people into the franchise, and then more feedback. So it's a no-brainer way of getting it done, and I don't know why.
I call it the Team Fortress 2 treatment.
Yeah.
They released it for free. Yep. But in terms of like quality of life and frame rate and all that stuff, once you get adjusted to, in my opinion, once you get adjusted to the 30 FPS, it's actually all right. And I posted this on Reddit. Somebody asked, hey, honest opinion, how does it feel going back to 30 FPS and all that stuff? What does it look like? You know, the game still looks pretty good. You know what I mean? That you can still see there's jaggy edges on weapons and stuff, but you know, you get accustomed to it. 30 FPS. Now, this is going to sound funny, but the game actually, I think, plays better. The hit detection is a lot better. You can actually get consistent 4-shot BRs at a lot of different ranges. Yep. Totally different BR, ask anybody.
Yeah, they fucked the hit detection in MCC.
The game feels less floaty as well. Meaning if you jump, you know, it feels faster. You're moving a little bit, and that's weird. In H3 MCC, it's a lot floaty. You know, it feels slow almost. It's hard to explain, but in H3, it's almost like you're moving a little bit faster, and like your camera movements are kind of like swift because of 30 FPS. It's hard to explain, but a lot of people liked my Reddit, or upvoted my Reddit comment on all that stuff. So some people are saying even the sound quality, and yes, they are right. The sound quality like is a lot better in backwards compatibility version. It's very minute, but you can notice it. Like the BR sounds a little bit better than the BR in the MCC, and there's a lot of differences. So when 343 said, you know, exactly the same as you experienced it X amount of years ago, BS.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, complete lie. I'd say as well that, and you can say yes or no to this, but I'd say it's the art style really that doesn't let the game down at 30 FPS. That it still looks
right.
It looks like Halo, like it's the old art style.
Exactly. I think Halo 3 looks miles ahead better than Halo 5.
Yeah. It was so ahead of its time.
MCC
it really was.
Version especially, they increased the lighting a little. You know, they got rid of the 1080p 60 FPS, dude. Beautiful, right? Art style, you know, that ancient Forerunner architecture, all that stuff, dude. And fucking Halo 5 is hideous looking, dude. Doesn't even Power Rangers in space.
Yeah, it really is hideous looking. It truly is. And
ugly.
Did you see that guy that I was that I had to call out, Zaymon or whatever his name was, who he argued that 343 is factually correct in their art style because Bungie never specified the chemicals that make up the air composition in any of the planets. So 343's games take part in space. Therefore, they're factually correct in their art style because of UV vis spectroscopy and, you know, different wavelengths of light.
Whatever.
It's a Power Rangers art style because it's a teen game. That's it. You know, there's nothing fucking more to it. It's a teen game, so it's made to look bright and colorful and whoa, look at all these like abilities. It's nothing to do with, you know, trying to improve the art style. It's to make it look brighter and like to stand out more. And in trying to make it stand out more, it didn't stand out.
Exactly. 343 games, I feel like they're really flashy.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. You know, we're gonna dedicate all of our resources to making the game look good, and the gameplay is shit.
I mean, Counter-Strike is a really great example on the other side of that coin of you don't need the graphics to look great. You need the gameplay and the systems that are in place to be great. And if they are great, the game will flow well. The community, people will flock to that game. The more people try it out, if it's a consistently good experience, then people will just flock to that type of game. And I don't really see a lot of consistency with Halo 5, and I know a lot of people are gonna bag on me for still going on about the mechanics, and people trying to argue that thrusters and things like that, and it does provide consistency if everyone has it, but I really would argue that it doesn't. That it adds about 10, 12, maybe 14 other things that can happen in a game that you're not used to in Halo. So when you go back and see Halo 3's pacing, it's the pacing as well. Like maybe the times to kill are somewhat similar, but you know, maybe within like half a second of each other, but it's just the pacing. It's how it feels when you're playing it, that you don't feel, you know, kind of over encumbered by what the fuck's going on. Like, okay, some guy could jump up here, or someone could thrust out here, and Nate could come in here, and I have to back up with my thruster. And it's just like, is there a guy ahead of me? Am I going to shoot him? If I need to back up, I will. There's like maybe 6 or 7 different things that can happen, and I think that's the reason that their games fail. It's just they took way too many things on. Like you said, they copied mechanics from other games, and they just destroyed what it was. They took facets that were just not. They have no place in Halo. These things have no place in Halo. I know that's completely different, your point, for Halo 3, but when you look at Halo 3 the way it is, with, you know, like the rank and progression system, things like that made Halo. To say that a 152 ranking system, just having a level or having your divisions, means anything. I mean, they also copy the ranking system from StarCraft 2. It's Joshua Menke's StarCraft 2 division system. So that's completely different. Other games can do it better. I know Overwatch is a very similar system, but Halo had a very unique ranking system, and I think that's something that is truly holding the franchise back. Not having that quintessential 1 to 50, and like the progression systems, even Reach's progression system, and Halo 3's 1 to 50 system. I mean, you have it. You know, it's all there. The framework is all there. It's just retarded that it's not being done.
So disappointing, dude. 343, man. I'll tell you what. Oh, bro. 3 steps forward,
43 steps back. Yeah, it's too true, man. It really is.
They never fail to amaze me in the incompetence and lack of just know-how. They don't know how to do anything, man.
Oh, they have to be the worst company, like, for gaming.
After multi-lock on, backwards, after all this stuff, dude, I already had no respect for the company as is, you know.
Yeah, how do you lose more respect,
now,
you know?
How do you lose more respect for a company you don't respect?
Yeah, it's a total paradigm.
Honestly, I'm
gonna start now in a sec.
You know, how is Halo 6 going to succeed and all that? So I'm thinking of, what are they going to mess up this time?
Yeah.
What are they going to fuck up now?
Yeah.
What's going to be missing? You know what I mean? That's the trend they follow with every Halo game.
And for Halo 6, I've seen a lot of people saying that this new DLC, which, by the way, for Halo Wars 2, I didn't play it, so I know you have, so you have more of a leg to stand on this point, but I still think that I'm not grasping at thin air when I'm saying that releasing a season pass and then having more paid DLC, no matter how good it is, no matter how much people like seeing the characters, like I've heard that the characters are kind of cool in it, but no matter how much you like seeing them come back and the Flood come back, that's still extra paid DLC, and people using this as a justification, saying, well, maybe the Flood's going to be in Halo 6. This is something I have a real problem with. They need to keep Halo's, like, the main core FPS franchise. That needs to be consistent in its storytelling. You know, you can't have a story, you can't bring in or bring back the Flood in an RTS game into Halo 6 and expect it to make sense to people that have not played Halo Wars 2. You know, they're constantly doing this with their lore, you know, having lore in the expanded universe actually reflect what's happening in the games. And they say, oh, well, you know, go read the lore. You know, it's not our fault, you need to read the lore. It's like, the fuck are you talking about? Halo 1, 2, 3 makes sense if you were just to play them one after another. Halo 4 and 5, not so much. You know, it's especially 5.
Halo 5, man. Yeah, exactly. With Halo 5, dude, I'm more of a multiplayer guy and mechanic guy. You know what I mean? I'm actually really good at Halo in terms of skill up. You know, I like to get to 50s and Team Slayer, Lone Wolves, and all that stuff.
I know.
When it comes to campaign, I love the 1 through 3 campaign. I even liked Reach. You know, I understood everything that happened. I even you know, would look at analytical videos on YouTube and stuff like that, breaking down things and all that kind of stuff. I was never into reading the books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you go to 5, dude, and it drops a bomb on you, basically, you know, who is blue team? I don't know where were these people in Halos 1 through 3?
Yeah.
I don't understand, you know.
I mean, they're in the
Fire
books,
Team,
yeah.
Fire
If
Team
you read the
Osiris
books, you know
especially,
where they
you know
are.
what
Like,
I mean?
oh, it's if you haven't watched Halo Nightfall, Halo 5 makes no sense. If you went from Halo 4, then all of a sudden, you know, the first cutscene of Halo 5, you're like, who the hell are these people? Like, who's this dude we're playing as now? Who the hell is Locke? Like, he's a husk.
Right.
He's a husk with a face, and the reason that he doesn't work is because he has a face. Master Chief doesn't have a face, so it's like, okay, I am Master Chief. You know, you see what I mean?
Yeah. The only reason I knew who Locke was is because of all the promotional material they did before the game started.
Oh, you mean the false advertising? It's
yeah. But, you know, I can't even name all the people right now on Fireteam Osiris. What, Tanaka? I know
Vale, Tanaka, Vale, Book. And
who the fuck is Vale, dude?
Yeah.
What?
She was in a comic, man. Did you know that?
I'm sorry.
Both of them were in fucking comics.
To all my subscribers that do care about lore, I'm sorry if I am being a little, you know, if you hate what I'm saying right now, but, you know, you have to understand that me and Roniboney, we reflect the most common fans in terms of, like, lore. People, you know, who pick up Halo 5 aren't going in with all this foundation of knowing the lore and story mechanics. You have to understand that. The base audience knows nothing, right? They're just casual players. Hey, I'll play a good story, you know, maybe I'll like it, maybe not. And with Halo 5, they didn't like it. Nobody understood what was going on.
And they should assume that the fans know nothing, so that you kind of have to bring them up to speed. Because if someone just randomly just jumps into Halo 5 as their first Halo game, do they know what's going on at all? Like, what's the context of the entire story? If you're bringing in these random characters and saying you need to care about these people, when even long-term fans are like, who the fuck are these people? Like, we don't care about them. You know, we care about Chief, and we get to play as him for 3 missions of the campaign. You don't really care about Chief. Like, if I had just started off Halo 5, I think that Locke was the main protagonist of the story, because he's there more. You know, I really think, and I made a video a while back saying that Noble Team was a lot better than Fireteam Osiris, because you didn't necessarily need to know their backstories. They were just quirky. They had more personality. And if you're not going to explain someone's backstory, you had better make them a likable character. And, you know, I know Noble Team had, like, some pretty, like, Kat's death, like, was unanimously kind of disliked by everybody, but they still had more personality than any of these members of Fireteam Osiris, and Blue Team for that matter as well. I don't give a shit about Fred and Kelly. And I don't care about them. Like, it's, you know, I've read about them in all the books, like The Fall of Reach. I read that book when I was like 14. I loved the book. I knew exactly who they were. I was excited to see them all come in, but it doesn't make sense to have them in and not explain them. You know, and then to explain them in all these, like, promotional material that comes with the game, like The Fall of Reach, the animated series, which was great. I'll give it to them. I liked that. It was really good, but I mean,
I can say I felt an emotional attachment with Reach. Like, even though Noble 6, you know, you didn't hear much from him. Even when he died at the end, I was like, damn, this is deep, dude. Like, seeing his cracked helmet after, you know, the elites killed him and all that. And, you know, as time went on, you saw, like, his impact on Halo and how he got Master Chief. So, you know, even like when George died, you know, he pushed him off. That was
the best. I
was like, wow, man. Like, Emil.
Going out like a badass. Dude. Yeah, it's.
You actually cared for these characters a lot more than saying, you know, hey, if one of the characters in Halo 5 died,
I just burst out laughing. Like, it's, you know, it's truly that. Like,
it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, no, Tanaka. You know, it's. Or what was it that Book says? It's like Tanaka, or was it Vale? He's like, say a few words. You know, you're buying the drinks afterwards. It's like, well, you know. A good scene would be to show them all having a fucking drink after all this is said and done. You know, have a nice quirky little scene, like 2 or 3 minutes long. That's all you need. You don't need a lot of exposition. You just need to show the characters that there is, or show the players that there is some type of payoff. And I just don't feel that with Halo 5 at all. And people out there saying you're just haters, you don't know anything about the expanded universe. Motherfucker, I never talk about it in my videos. I have read nearly everything in the expanded universe. I don't talk about it because that's not what matters. What matters is getting the game better. So
Thank
I've read Cryptum, I've read Silentium, I can't remember the rest of the names now, but all the Glasslands trilogy with Kilo 5. I've read all of those things. I love the expanded universe. I love the lore that surrounds Halo. Absolutely love it.
Too.
I still don't think that that should influence the main titles. I think that they should all make sense by themselves.
Should all make sense to a yes, exactly.
They're categorically wrong on this 343R, and they have a very large ego in this respect, where they say that people should try and catch up on these things. They should, this whole thing that you should care about Halo. You should buy all of our other products. How much money do you fucking think people are going to spend in your franchise when it's, it has no critical acclaim anymore?
Right.
People aren't going to spend that money to try and get up to speed with what's going on in the rest of the, the expanded universe and the actual in-game universe. People don't care. They want to buy the game. They want the actual game to make sense. They want it to be fun. And if one of those things is off, then, I'm sorry, but you have their sale, but you don't have their fandom. And that's really what you need right now, is just fandom 343. You need people that are passionate and...
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, like Multi-Lock on.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, dude. Dude, you wanted to go through some comments, or?
Oh, Jesus! I just wanted to talk in general about some of the comments I've been receiving. Some fairly crazy ones where people, they argue, and this, I know we said it earlier as well, but I feel like a lot of people that are very pro 343 are either extremely young, and I don't think that this is a baseless assumption. It's the way that they speak, it's their grammar, it's just everything to do with how they kind of conduct themselves, even in a comment. Like, I know that I might say something that annoys them in a video, but the fact of the matter is that I've gone to the trouble of most of the time typing out a script for that video, and I've kind of collected my thoughts. And if you're going to attack me, you can attack my character, that's fine, but also if you're going to attack my points, attack them properly and attack them systematically. Don't just have like fragmented sentences here saying that you're sucking Halo 5 because of this, that's why you have this opinion. And I see that, I see that quite a lot. I saw that in your comment section as well, in your video where you said that.
Dude, yeah. And here's my response. Somebody will say, oh, you don't know anything, you suck at Halo, it's not in the third. I say 1v1 me, and I give him my gamer tag. 1v1. I will wreck anybody, dude. Well, not anybody. I'm pretty good, but
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Yeah. I've been playing this game since I was fucking 5.
Yeah.
So, 1v1 me. If you have a problem with my playstyle, 1v1 me. I will beat you.
I had someone tell me yesterday, dude, that I am not allowed to talk about Halo anymore because I sold my Xbox One. The fuck does that even mean? So like, I've played a game for nearly 16 years now, and I'm not allowed to talk about it when it's drastically, gone down the shitter because I don't have an Xbox One anymore. It doesn't make any sense. I don't play, I'm not an American. So does that mean that I can't talk about things that are going on in America? I can't have an opinion on these things. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I'm not in Irish politics. Does that mean I can't talk about Irish policy that's happening in my country? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, for someone to say that. It's these arguments that they just don't want to hear your opinion. It's not that, they don't want you to talk about it. It's just they can't handle the opinion that you're presenting to them. Because whether you like it or not, the truth hurts a lot of the time. Like, the comments that will stick with you are the ones that hurt the most, or the ones that you really just disagree with the most. On both sides, for both of us and for people that comment at us. So it's if you don't agree with us, that's fine. That's totally fine, and I'm all up for people disagreeing. But if you're going to respond in that way, I think that is what toxicity is. People say, our types of opinions for Halo are toxic to this community. I think that blind kind of faith in the developer and in the franchise, even when it's failing, that's toxic. Yeah, right. That's toxic. That's the only form of toxicity literally, that's happened.
343 and their entire fan base of 343 fanboys on Reddit, Waypoint, whatever, are literally just a bunch of yes men.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
If 343 does this, yeah, that's good, even though it's bad. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
They can't critically analyze something and come to a conclusion based off of reality. They think, okay, I'm so emotionally attached to this, I'm going to, and it's, again, I said this before, nothing wrong with being emotionally attached.
Well,
I am, you are, but you have to separate that sometimes. You have to say, okay, this is what's wrong. I'm emotionally attached, but how can we fix this? I understand that this is not good. The direction that the franchise is going in is bad. Let's do this. Let's fix it. Not let's, ignore every principle that's fucked up and say, for the hell of it, yeah, 343 are doing good.
Yeah. And that's why we have these types of and a lot of the time it becomes really kind of circular in the conversation topics, that we just keep going back to some things because
they all lead into each other.
Yeah, they all do lead into each other, and that's the point, is that this isn't just any one kind of thing and it's not one detail that has led Halo down where it is. It's just a culmination of all these different things that have just they just keep mounting and mounting and mounting.
It's so complex.
Yeah, it is. It's like a little network of
it's not just the gameplay sucks. The story's bad. It's deeper. It's so deep. So many different variables here to consider. Yeah. The art style, the mechanics, each mechanic in itself, sprint, thruster, clamber. A lot of people like me and Faven, we both agree in this aspect that clamber is not a good mechanic because all the maps increase vertically. So say for instance in midship, you'd have to make the map taller, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
So because if you don't make the map taller, let's say Halo 3 had clamber, you could literally jump up to a certain ledge that you're not supposed to jump up to and be able to get on access to that building.
Yeah.
They have to, everything. There's so many different variables, dude, and it's just.
There was a video a while back, man, some guy made saying that actually enhanced mobility is a lie, where he ran around on midship or on a truth, I think it is, or whatever it is, Heretic or something like that. No, Heretic was Halo 3. Whatever the Halo 5 name of it was, I think it's Truth. He ran around on that one, and he was clambering around the place. Then he ran around on Halo 2 Classic on midship, and he was able to basically crouch jump around the place backwards and everything, just as effectively and just as mobile as you are in Halo 5. So I think it's a lie. It's to make it more noob friendly. It's totally to make it more noob friendly.
Right.
Some of these changes, it's, and if you look at the actual time that the Halo 5 beta came out and the time that Destiny released, you can totally see some of these facets that were blatantly and admittedly copied making their way into the game. They had a 4-month time frame to test some of these things out. Everyone was playing Destiny at that time, and there's quite a lot there. Yeah, it's
crazy. Something I want to mention, and I'm sure you knew this because you saw the video. Did you know double jump was in Halo 5 at one time?
Yep.
Just like in Advanced Warfare, just like in Titanfall, and just like in Black Ops 3.
Could you have imagined what that would have done?
I took them side by side. They work exactly the same, right? You jump, you see your thrust, you jump like normal jump, then you press A again, and you see your thruster, and you get a boost again. Yeah. And it was just like, are you kidding me? What?
Yeah. And a lot of people use lore to justify some of these mechanics, which is, and I still see that argument, and I think it's a tired, useless argument that lore should justify game mechanics, because if anything to do with lore justify, and I brought this point up a few videos ago, that I've a degree in nutrition, so I could bring up that the lore of the Spartans, their bone mass and their bone density and things like that, a Spartan should be able to pick up a hunter and fucking throw them across the room then, if that's the case. Right, because their bones never break. You cannot use it. It's a fictional video. It's a video game.
You cannot, you cannot use lore to justify any of the mechanics.
Yeah.
In Halo, dude. I'm sorry, you can't. Like you said, throwing a hunter.
Even their nutrition and things like that. If you're a 7-foot tall Spartan running around in a big metal suit, you're running around all day, every day, fighting, using your musculature and everything like that, you're going to expend a lot of calories.
If that's the case, if they want to go so far, how do they piss?
Yeah, how do they poop? Probably some kind of, I nearly answered it there, some kind of filtration system. And I mean, we can kind of you can kind of guess at those things, but when it's actually given to you, it kind of ruins the illusion of the entire thing. That there's some things that are better left unsaid.
Right, it's a game. It's fun. Fun factors should be more important than lore and. I mean, don't get me wrong, lore is important, yes, but you got to make sure the game is fun too. You got to make sure that it plays well, that it's actually building on its predecessors, and that it's using influences within its own franchise. It's okay to use some minor influences from other franchises, but when you take literally mechanics and copy and paste them from, say, Destiny's shoulder charge to Halo 5 shoulder charge, that is where I'm no, stop. Stop.
I also think Reach has, I'm not going to paint Bungie as the most perfect company. I think that their framework in Reach really it was following a market trend because they added in like, you know, sprint and things like this and all these abilities and jetpacks and stuff. But at its core, Reach still did have like most of the actual loadouts and everything in Reach still had the base movement speed. It still was centered around weapons, grenades, melee.
Right. Reach felt more like Halo than say Halo 5.
Like people look fondly back, and like if you look at even the gameplay selection as well in Reach, it's just ridiculous the amount of playlists you have, the amount of game modes in there. It is definitely a love letter to Halo fans, and I'm kind of a little bit like disappointed in myself that I didn't appreciate Reach at the time for really what it was. I still think Halo 3 did it best, but Reach, I believe, did game modes and like the kind of Bungie's last kind of, you know, hoorah for Halo. I think they did that really, really well.
Oh yeah.
But now looking at the way it's gone down, Reach, a lot of people look at Reach as a perfect game, and at the time it was so divided. I was on the forums back then quite a lot, and it was extremely divisive, and it really divided a lot of the player base, where some people said we're sticking to Halo 3, some people went over to Reach, and now I kind of miss those days where we had two options, where people who wanted to play like a different style of Halo, you know, also, you know, had it like, you know, they had Halo 3, they had the classic way of playing, the more kind of competitive way of playing, and the more kind of like level based, like elo based type of way of playing, and then they had the completely casual way of playing, which is what Reach is. Reach is a casual game at its heart. It had a competitive scene, but that scene fell flat on its face because it was inherently casual at its core. And that can lead on to another topic that 343 keeps focusing on, this competitive aspect of Halo, and just it's too sweaty. It's too sweaty. You don't want to get on and just feel like you're clamming on the controller all day. Sometimes you want to sit back and just be stupid with Halo.
Remember, it launched without any social playlists or features.
I launched without a lot of shit, man. It had 7 launch playlists. Like,
even the playlists now, dude. They're finally adding fucking oddball.
Yeah.
So, you know, so much complexity, so many issues, dude. You know, that's why I make my videos, man. I said in my last video why I stopped playing Halo games. You know, I'm still always gonna make videos on it. I'm still, you know, I also want to talk about other things as well. But you know, Halo is where my heart is, man. I will always talk about Halo until it's actually fixed. And even then, hey, maybe I might, you know, do actually gameplay videos and road to rank 50 and stuff like that.
I would love to do that. Like, it's.
Oh yeah. Because that's fun, dude.
It is fun. Oh, it's the grind. Halo's the only game that really kind of does it for me. Like, and in a way, man, it was like when I saw your video, it was one of the reasons that I did kind of come back and start Halo YouTubing again, because of what you did say at the very end, that, you know, you will still focus on Halo. And I believe I messaged you even after that saying like, oh man, maybe let it go. And then I had this kind of like divisive kind of moment with myself saying like, what are you doing? Like, you know, the franchise needs you. Kind of thing. And it's, I mean, I thank you for that, but you're so right that we always have to respect our fans and go back and talk about these things that other people aren't willing to talk about, because they really aren't.
And I'm glad I encouraged you or influenced you or whatever, dude, because
you did.
Really, man, there's nothing wrong with, you know, being, it may seem like we're being negative, you know what I mean, but there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with being realistic about things, talking them out. You know, it's not like we're, you know, shitting on other people. We're just talking. We're, you know, I value other people's opinions. You may like 343, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at least let's, you know, solve the issues. Let's talk it out, and you know all the rest, dude. So you know, this was great, man. I'm glad we.
Yeah, dude. It always is, man. It's always
we gotta keep doing these more often, dude.
We definitely do, man. Like, it's. And getting more.
You're busy with your schedule. I'm busy with my schedule, man.
Oh, even fitting this in today, man, was a stretch, but it's worth it, because I think, you know, as we're kind of at that lower end of the community where we're at the more, I kind of divide for myself the community into like the really low end is people that are kind of like up and coming, or either extremely toxic, so they're never going to grow, like UGLL. There's your shout out, you dickhead. And then there's the other type of the community where we're kind of more like the honest YouTubers, or as some like to call us, the shills or the corporate shills.
We're honest.
It couldn't be, you know, any more untrue. And then there's the other side of the community where it's the, people that are, like Faven and Axeman, that they're kind of at that kind of middle end and they're still, I think they're still really honest YouTubers. They're still really great YouTubers. And then the people that are at the very top are just, and the people have like, 100,000, 80,000 subscribers, just talk absolute nonsense some of the time. And they talk a lot of shit, and and I don't mean like they talk shit, they talk just absolute moronic, like nothingness. It's their videos mean nothing. Like Luke the Notable is like, what are your chances of getting a killionaire? It's like, that's clickbait at its finest.
Right.
And it's, I don't hate Luke, I just don't like the direction of his videos a lot.
What would it be like if you fought a grunt?
Yeah, it's like,
that's how scarce, and that's how like
desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just desperate. Yeah, it really is desperate. So we need more people at the top to start talking about these things. And maybe some of these guys that we've mentioned by name in these videos, look, we have like the balls to say, I have the balls to say your names. I'm not going to skirt around the bush and say, oh, I don't really like this.
I hate when people skirt around and dance around. Like, say what you mean to say.
Just say it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's a video game. Like, let's discuss it as a video game. We may disagree, but at the end of the day, I don't think that they're bad people at all.
Thank you.
Apart from you, GLL, I think you're a bit of a shit, to be honest. But I mean, that's he knows that too. I know he must know it too.
He's a goofball, man.
Yeah,
but I swear by this, dude. Like, no matter, even if I get big with, whatever amount of subs or, I will never change. Like, I will always give you my honest opinion about something and back it up with research, facts, and whatnot. I like to present a good argument. That's how I am. I won't shill for a company. Like, for instance, I like Cuphead right now. Great game. I love it. I recommend it.
Yeah, I saw your Reddit post, actually.
Oh, I'm in love with that game, dude. You know what I mean? I'm not shilling for the game, you know what I mean? I just give my honest opinion.
Yeah,
I'll tell you if I like a game. I'll tell you if I hate it. I'll tell you if, I think a company is shit, 343. I'll tell you if, So, I like to be honest about things. I like to give you that down-to-earth review, commentary. Here is my argument. Here is why I think this or that. So.
Yeah, and I think that's why your commentaries are really good, man, is that always kind of translates through. You do a lot more research than I would do. I would say that I'm honest, but if I'm wrong about something, I'll put my hand up in the air and say I'm wrong about this. Like, it's fair enough. Like, you got me.
Exactly, dude.
I think that's all it takes. I really would try and urge some of these larger YouTubers that, like, don't take any of this to heart that I've myself or Weapons Creative mentioned you by name at all. Because I know there's a real culture of that now in YouTube that, like, you mentioned me, what the hell? It's, I've been called out about 10 times. Like, you just learn to get over it and just stop caring about it. But for those guys, you really have the capacity to change everything about Halo, because you have, and social media is so powerful that if you really try to change these things, like Halo Canon, Halo Follower, Ready Up Live, things like that, if you really tried, like, I mean, forget getting free games and getting invited to press events. You can live without that, but you would gain so much notoriety and you gain so much respect from the community if you
just realize something. I'm sorry, I just realized something. Real quick, they 343 have the audacity to invite people like Faven and Ackman, who shit all over the campaign and mechanics, to their studio. But they will fire somebody like Multi-Lock on for saying what he said.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The irony, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
It's PR. It's totally PR.
Yeah.
It's like, because they know that the community exists. Like, it's an entirely online community. It's not like, apart from like the Legion that does like all the dressing up as Spartans, which is pretty cool actually. I met some of those guys at an event one time. But apart from those guys, it all exists online. So. And like, those guys really are more like Faven, Axeman. I think they're like pretty much the figureheads. I see them as more of the figureheads of the Halo community, and they really worked their way up to that point. And they've said a lot of honest and down-to-earth shit, and it's just been, it's good having those guys there, and they keep putting their efforts forward. And I hope that some of the larger guys just fucking do it. Just tell us what you really think. And if you really think, and if Halo Follower really thinks that, this is great, everything's so great about Halo, it's like, we can see right through it, Chris. We can see right through all your shit. Everyone sees right through it, and it's, if you were honest for once about the game, and like truly honest, and sometimes he does these types of negative videos, you know, the odd time, just to appear like he's rounded in his arguments. But I think there's a lot of money driving Halo, and until people stop being greedy about the franchise, it's never going to be back where it is. You know, just check your egos, listen to what's being said, and make changes. You know, how do you get respect? If you own up to a mistake. You know, if you take ownership of your decisions. That's how you will regain respect. Anyway, we probably better wrap this up here. It's been about an hour, guys. Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Really, really great discussion.
It was fun, man. Really fun. I always, again, dude, I always say this in every single discussion we have, dude. The whole time you're talking, I'm shaking my head in agreement. I'm just like, damn, dude, like, what is going on, man?
Yeah.
Awesome discussion, dude.
Same, dude. Yeah. No,
all right, really, man. It was a pleasure, dude.
Yeah,
Take
dude.
care.
Always is. Night. You too, guys. Thanks very much. Remember to go over to Weapons Great's channel, and Weapons Great subscribers come over to mine.
Yeah, go check out Roniboney. He has some great content, dude. I liked your 343 the ego video.
Oh man,
that's my recent favorite.
Hey, there we
go. I also love when you call out the comment section. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's going to continue as well into the foreseeable future. Anyway, right, we better end this up, guys. Thank you very much. Fight for Halo. It deserves it. Try and check some of these guys on Twitter, and have a great day.
Yep. See you.